I'm powering my entire off-grid cabin on these two Vatrer 300 amp hour batteries. They're operating absolutely everything. They're super easy to connect. They're super easy to use. They're absolutely beautiful. They're heated, which is even more incredible when you live in Alaska and you have to worry about maintaining the proper temperature for charging and discharging a lithium iron phosphate battery. They are 12.8 volt, 300 amp hour, 3,840 watt hour batteries. The charge voltage is 14.2 to 14.6. The max charge current from each battery is 200 amps, and the max discharge current is 200 amps as well. I can't say enough about how well these things have performed. I had planned on running these things until they were absolutely dead, to let you know exactly what you could expect from them, but in reality, I haven't been able to kill them yet. Matter of fact, when I came home today, this is roughly 5 days of solid use on these batteries. I'm still at 58% capacity. So at this point, one of these batteries would have run me for an entire week. I'm completely blown away. We'll discuss what kind of factors may come into play for you. But unlike a lot of videos that I see introducing batteries like this and discussing batteries like this, I'm not set up to do all these fancy tests. And to be frankly honest with you, I'm not really one of these guys that likes to test every single aspect of it. I go with the company based on what they state and how their follow-through is, and going back and forth at dealing with Vatrer, they bent over backwards to make sure that these batteries could get to me, because shipping something like this to Alaska is pretty difficult, and their customer service on that end alone just blew my mind. So rather than go through all these gizmos and gadgets to take them all down and charge them back up and show you all the oddball stuff that you can watch on any other video, I thought that it'd be nice to just, for once, do a practical application on these. How well will they work? How well will they run in my cabin? They are running absolutely fantastic. I'll tell you that right now. What good would they do for you? Well, I have a simple system set up here with a 2200 watt inverter, a couple of bus bars, and a solar charge controller. All you would need to run your house as a backup electrical source with batteries like this is an inverter. And a couple of bus bars. That would pretty much, you wouldn't actually need the bus bars either. You could go directly from the batteries right into the inverter. And depending on the draw for your refrigeration at home, if you're in a minor power outage, if you're in a storm-related power outage, if you're in a hurricane-related power outage where you're not going to have power for a couple of days, maybe up to a week, maybe up to 2 weeks, you could fire up a quick generator with these batteries and a decent battery charger. We'll discuss that as well. And keep your refrigerated, all your perishable stuff, all your frozen, still frozen, all your refrigerated, still refrigerated. You can even run some odds and ends around the house very simply. So when it comes to a 300 amp hour battery, you have to think to yourself about, what's it going to take to recharge that? And honestly, when I first looked at getting into this, charging the battery didn't come into play. But I received these batteries, I didn't think down those lines, but I received these batteries. I bought a battery charger. I ordered one online, a nice one, and I never saw it get shipped. So I canceled the order on that. I ordered another one from another company. It should be here in a day or two. It's already shipped. It's on its way. And I started doing the math. So with a general standard 15 amp battery charger that charges lithium iron phosphate, that's another thing that's important, is you have to have the right style charger. If this thing was at 15% or 50%, which is what they arrive at a 50% state of charge, that's 150 amp hours. It would take me 10 hours to top off one of these batteries. It would take 20 hours to top off two. So you'll really want to look at, if you're going to do this, you're really going to want to look at having a generator that will put out enough power and having a battery charger that will put out enough amps to charge these things up on a quicker mission. I mean, 20 hours on my generator is going to use quite a bit of fuel. But with a larger amp discharged battery charger, I ordered an 80 amp. In 3.5 hours, I can have one of these completely filled up from zero. So you want to look at that as well. I'm going to show you everything that I've done with this, all the way from setting it up and getting it operating to where I'm at right now with the entire system. And we're going to come back and revisit this multiple times over the next few months. My eventual plan here is to pick up a couple more solar charge controllers when spring hits and the ground thaws out, because everything's frozen right now. I'll build the woodshed, and on the roof of the woodshed will be the solar panels that I'll use to top the charge off on these. And from that point forward, everything will be solar based. But for right now, oh, it's just kicking on right now. I just heard the fan go. There we go. Right now, the only way that I have to charge these is via generator. So yeah, let me show you what I've done so far, all the way from setup until now, and then we'll talk again at the end. Right now, it's still at 13.1%, or 13.1 volts, and 100 watts being pulled out of that right now. So I did a lot of things right on this when I installed it. These cords are connecting the two batteries, and they've been connected for 24 hours now, so that allows the batteries to equalize themselves out. One of the things I think I did that was very right on this system was having a disconnect for the batteries here. So if I switch this off right now, the lights will go out. All right? And I'm going to go ahead and let me turn this back on. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to disconnect the negative and the positive from the little 12-volt battery here, and I'm going to connect them to the top battery here. That's all I'm going to do, and then the entire system will be being powered by the 600 amp hours of these Vatrer batteries. Let me go ahead and get that switched over now. You're not going to be able to see much because it's going to be dark. All right, so this is connected to the main box, and I've got a breaker on there, a fuse, and then that's connected now as well. If everything works right, we should have power coming on here. It says I got 8.4 volts coming in from the solar panel right now. Let's turn this on and see what we got. And I'm now at 13.7 volts on the system. So everything is working 100%. I'm going to do screen record. Let's see here. So I can show you what the battery's doing right now. Okay, let's see what we got going here. So I got the battery running, like I said. We've got the voltage all where it's supposed to be. So let's pull up the app that I installed. And right now there is nothing happening current-wise on that battery. So at the top it tells you the state of charge. That's what SOC means. On battery 2 it's at 100%. What my high voltage was, what my low voltage was, what the differential in voltage is, what my average voltage is, all of that information is on there. So then if I click over one of the arrows on the top, it'll bring the second battery. And on the second battery, we're at a 99% state of charge. That's battery number 1. And the same thing, I don't have anything really happening right now, but I wanted to check those to make sure that everything looked like it was working. All right, let's do a little bit of math here. Because when you're working with solar and you're working with power and anything off-grid via batteries, you need to be able to do a little bit of math. So this is a 300 amp hour battery. And most of the chargers that you get for charging batteries that will charge a lithium battery, from the Wally World and auto parts stores and stuff like that, they're going to run anywhere from 10 to 30 amps. So if I had a 30 amp battery charger for this, and it was a constant charge of 30 amps, and this battery was at 0, we're talking about 10 hours to charge one battery. So both batteries would take 20 hours to charge with a 30 amp charger. And that's why I opted to order a 80 amp charger that's specifically designed for lithium iron phosphate. It charges at 14.2 to 14.6 volts. And with 80 amps, this battery would take just under 3 hours to top off, to go from 0 to fully charged. So both batteries would take 6 hours. The reason why that's important is because during the winter I'm forced to generate power via a generator. I don't have a solar system in place yet that will work in winter, and I'm in Alaska, so let's be honest. Solar power is not going to work that great in winter in Alaska. But by running the generator and that charger, I can cut down the runtime that I have to worry about with the generator. Now, I don't know how long this is going to run the refrigerator yet, and that's what this whole test is going to be about. We're going to switch everything over to my inverter, at which point we will plug in the refrigerator to the inverter, and it will be running 100% on batteries. And we'll look at it tomorrow morning and see what our state of charge is on the battery. I'll probably check it again tonight just because I'll be curious. But the plan is that in summer, solar panels will be installed that will kick up enough amps to be able to keep this thing charged and topped off all the time, so that I never have to worry about it. Basically, from April to October, I should never have to worry about running a generator. But this is going to make things much, much, much easier. More than likely not the permanent home for this, because I can move it around, but this is going to be the water barrel for my running water in the cabin, and I don't know that I want the batteries right next to the water, so I'm going to have to do some tweaking. Not that I'm worried about splash. It just would be safer if I could move this to a different location, maybe up front. We'll see. But for right now, this will be fine. And we're going to give this thing a test. Matter of fact, why don't I turn on my inverter right now and see what kind of a draw I get on power just from the inverter? Because right now, I'm not going to get much of a draw at all running just these little bitty lights overhead. So I have a power button right here. And it says I have 13.6 volts. And that is the exact same as the other one over there. You need some more light so I can see what I got going on here. Input, output, and output. So right now I'm not putting anything out. I could plug this into that right now. Right now on the kilowatt meter, I'm still drawing 93 amps. So basically I'm drawing an amp an hour. The conversion from 110 to 12 volt is about 10. So we're talking about 1 amp being drawn on the 110 side is going to equal to 10 amps being drawn on the battery. So with that math, these two batteries should run my refrigerator for almost 3 days, 60 hours, right? 72 hours would be 3 days. But the refrigerator doesn't run 24/7. It runs, it stops, it starts, it stops, it starts. And I want to get it down to full temperature before I switch everything over, because then I'll get a more true reading of how long it will run. And then obviously when I pick up more food tomorrow and really refill up the fridge and the freezer, that will also hold, the more you keep in it, the cooler it stays, because the ambient temperature of the products that are in there make a big difference too. But yeah, game changer. I love these batteries. They're absolutely beautiful. And I cannot wait to get the new charger up here and get it installed, because once the new charger is installed, I'll just be able to start the generator up. That charger will kick right on and start charging everything right away. And I'm super excited about that. Okay, I went ahead and I just plugged the refrigerator into the pure sine wave inverter, the 2200 GNDL that I have. And looking at the app right now, it says that it's going to run my refrigerator for roughly 38 hours. But again, the refrigerator stops and starts and stops and starts. It's drawing right around 8 amps. I will switch it over. Look at the other battery. So both batteries are drawn down at about the same, which is perfect. So we will let it run and see what it does, but we'll check it again tomorrow morning. I do have a charger that I can use temporarily, so I'll run it now, but I'm basically cooking dinner and watching Bob Ross paint happy trees, and I kind of wanted to turn the generator off, and the refrigerator had already stopped. it had already got all the way down to temperature and showed that it was drawing almost 0 amps out of there. So I'll be curious to see how this actually works, but we'll find out in the morning now, won't we? Oh, good morning. So it's 7:30 in the morning right now, and I thought I'd do a brief update of how the battery, I wonder why that says 0 up there. Oh, because it's amps. Of how the battery has done over the first night. So I got everything connected yesterday. I think it was probably about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So, you know, we're well over the 12-hour mark. And I'll pull up the screen recorder. One thing I think people don't realize about refrigerators is that they don't always run. And like I said last night when I looked at how long this would run, it said originally 60 hours, which would be just shy of 3 days. In reality, these batteries right now, one of them is battery number 2 is at 94% state of charge still. And it's drawing no current at all, because the refrigerator's not asking for any current. And battery number 1 is at 93%, and I started at 199. So what I'm seeing with the draw on these batteries is that when the refrigerator is calling for power, I can read it right here on the end of how much of the inverter on how much power it's actually drawing. And I'm seeing it draw about 100 watts on average. There's a lot of things that will make a difference in how much power your refrigerator is going to need. One big one here at the cabin is that I actually keep the cabin pretty cool. So it's just under 60 degrees inside the house right now. So if your house is 75, 80 degrees inside, your refrigerator is going to run a whole lot more. Also, whether or not you stand there and open the door and close the door, you know, when your parents told you when you were a kid, you know, don't stand there and look in the refrigerator. That's because all you're making it do is run longer. And I really haven't gone in or out of the refrigerator all night long. I've heard it come on twice this morning since I've been up, and I've been up for a couple of hours. But yeah, 93% state of charge on battery number 1, which started at 99, and battery number 2 is at 94%. I can probably safely say I'm going to get multiple days out of the operation of this. The next time it comes on, I'll go ahead and I'll do a screen record of how long it says it will run, and I'll show you the amp current draw and that kind of stuff again. But so far so good, and we're going to stop by and check on how this thing does throughout the next couple of days. My goal the first time around is to run these batteries all the way down to almost 0, so that I can know exactly what I can expect out of these Vatrer batteries. But so far so good. I am super, super pleased with how these things are working out. All right, I forgot to show you guys what it was drawing and how long it said it would last. So according to the app right now, I have 77 to 81 hours of estimated time remaining. And like I said, when I started this whole thing, it was 60 hours, just over 60 hours that it said it would run. So everything seems to be doing awesome. 3.49 amps being drawn out of battery number 2. .919 amps being drawn out of battery number 1. And this one says 66%. That could be the difference in the 1% of state of charge. So the other one's 94%. This one's 93%. Look at the history. Let's see if it'll pull it up or not. This has been kind of an issue of working. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I still have to learn how to use this app. We'll go back to real time. So yeah. The refrigerator that I'm powering is a brand new Visani. It's like 19.1 cubic feet. And one of the things that was important to me when I purchased this was that I wanted to make sure I got something that was really energy efficient. So I looked at the Energy Star rating and how many kilowatts it said it would use per year. And I got one that basically runs on like 1.1 and a half or 1.2 kilowatts per day. And you could just calculate that out pretty easily. Whatever it says it's going to run in kilowatts per year, divide that by 365. That's what I ended up doing. It's actually taken less power than that. But again, it's because the cabin is so much cooler than, you know, regular ambient temperatures. We'll do a battery update because now it has been it's been 2 days, 2 full days, and we're still at 13.3 volts on the batteries. They're doing fantastic. Let me pull up a screenshot recording to show you where we're at with state of charge. Okay, so we will scroll over. We will pull up the battery app. And right now, I'm at 83% state of charge in battery number 2. It's currently drawn 1.16 amps, and I think that's a balancing draw. And then battery number 1 is at 80% state of charge. So, I mean, I'd call that, what, 81.5% between the two of them? And that one is currently drawing 1 amp as well. Don't know why. Don't know where that amp's going. I don't know if it's just, like I said, balancing itself out. But that is 2 full days, so I'm using basically 10% of my battery life per day. Estimated empty time, 204 hours, 28 minutes, but that doesn't really matter. That doesn't really count because the refrigerator's not running right now. So, yeah, that's where we're at. Refrigerator just went off. That's what clued me, and I went, oh, shoot, I haven't checked yet. But still at 13.3 volts for the batteries, and the nice thing about lithium iron phosphate batteries is that they're going to stay at that level until they get down to the absolute bottom. Whereas with a traditional battery, the gel cells that I had in here before, or lead acid batteries, you're going to see a drop off in voltage from the minute you start using them. With that said, I'm going to have dinner right now. It's Monday night. It's the worst week of the year for me because it's Thanksgiving, and everybody's going to shop like mad on Tuesday and Wednesday. So I'm just kind of laying low tonight. All right, I did it like an hour late yesterday, so we're going to do it an hour early today. This is day number 4 of running everything in the cabin now off the new batteries from Vatrer. So let's spin this around. Right now, the total charge is at 13.2 with 0 volts being drawn, or 0 watts being drawn out of the inverter. And I have a 2200 watt G&L full pure sine wave inverter. Everything's still hooked up. Everything's awesome. The nice thing is I get to leave my lights on. I don't have to worry about they'll draw on my lights. All right, let me pull up the screen recorder so I can walk you through what I got going. Alrighty, let's head on over to our app. Open it up, and battery number 1 is at a 62% state of charge. And battery number 2 is at a 63% state of charge. When I got home, they were both at 64%. So they're really equalizing out now, which is super awesome. I'm drawing 1 amp of current on battery 2. And I'm drawing 1 amp of current on battery 1. So basically at this rate, at the rate that I'm drawing power off of these now, 4 days and I'm still above 60%, we're looking at a full 10 days of power for the refrigerator before I hit 0. 10 days of pure running before I hit 0, and I'm forced to recharge the batteries. Now, recharging the batteries, like I said before, is going to be a monumental task until I get the new charger, but it's already shipped and it's on its way up here. And we'll do a separate video about shipping stuff to Alaska here coming up too. But I'm very, very satisfied with these things. They are absolutely beautiful. All right, so we're doing our final check for this week for the video. And right now, battery number 2 is at a 58% state of charge. And battery number 1 is at a 56% state of charge. So let's just call it 57% between the two of them. And the crazy thing is I started this on Friday. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. So after 5 days, what I'm seeing is my system is actually running better than I expected. I expect to get well over 10 days of power out of these at this point. They're doing fantastic. I can't say enough about it. I will continue to monitor this and record, and we'll probably include that in next week's video, as well as what it takes to charge these up. But I am super, super satisfied with these batteries. They're fantastic. And it's making a huge difference here at the cabin. So like I said, I'm going to be running this thing through all kinds of tests as I go forward here over the next couple of months, but I've seen nothing negative so far. These are absolutely beautiful batteries. They've surpassed what I expected. Part of that is because I didn't do the math right to begin with and thought I needed more than I did. But you can never have too much when it comes to backup power. If you're interested in Vatrer batteries, they have multiple sizes, all the way from golf cart size all the way up to, I think they have a 460 amp hour battery as well. I'm going to provide a link down below with a discount code that you are more than happy to click through and check out from their website and order something. The link will stay there forever, as long as Sean in Alaska exists. So if you see this video down the road and you want to go back, the link will still be there. But it's Vatrer, V-A-T-R-E-R. In case somewhere down the road the link becomes busted, just let me know and I'll fix it. I'm really, really happy with this, and I hope you guys will be too if you're interested. Super simple way to take absolute off-grid living and convert it to, basically everyday life. We'll see you guys next week. I'm Sean in Alaska. Have a great day.